Buffalo Hunter says lying, cheating, and playing the victim.
Okay, first of all, if you're going to reference a drop, we need to get it right, okay? Your order here is incorrect.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
Okay, so get the order right, but great comment.
That is AI. I want to make that very clear. That is a deep fake of Jim Harbaugh.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Yes. And real quick, I got quite a few. You hyenas now have taken to DMing me on TikTok because
what, Twitter wasn't good enough, dude.
And I think most people figured out I don't look at notifications or in DMs on Twitter. I just don't. And you guys were like, "Don't you dare read comments that are non-member comments." Not all non-member comments are equal. For instance, Tyler talking about cheeseburgers and the fact that he hates the Michigan Wolverine fan base so much. I mean,
this is a tasty burger.
And the cheeseburger was just the appetizer. Which, again, you guys, listen, these kids are going to starve.
Marty,
I didn't know that we bought them cheeseburgers, but we bought them cheeseburgers. And when I say we, I mean, it wasn't me, the proverbial we. I didn't rig those charges.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
No. That's essentially Jim Harbaugh's defense. We have been talking about this, and yes, the Michigan fan base has been rabid in the comments section telling us that we don't know what we're talking about, and you guys don't have sources. Trust me, bro. Okay. I think we've been pretty nails on Jim Harbaugh. And speaking of nails, he got nailed yesterday by the NCAA as the notice of allegations came out for the sign stealer guy. And now we get punishment of Jim Harbaugh for the COVID dark period recruiting violations that were just, hey, bro, these kids were hungry. They just happen to be football recruits. We didn't know that. We bought them cheeseburgers.
That's bullshit.
Turns out that's not what the NCAA says happened. And the paper receipts and the video receipts and the recruits and their fathers telling the NCAA that Jim Harbaugh, in fact, did meet with them. Jim Harbaugh met with these kids at a diner and met with them at the Michigan football facility. And then Jim Harbaugh lied about that and acted unethically. And the NCAA yesterday dropped the hammer by giving him a 4-year show cause order and essentially suspending him for 4 years. And I think it is just. I think it's exactly what should happen. But what does this mean? All of this for the sign stealing scandal. We're going to get to that in a minute. But the biggest question is, does this, what amounts to a 4-game suspension, a 4-year suspension of Jim Harbaugh, because he gets a 1-year suspension, which means that Jim Harbaugh will not be allowed if he gets a college job, and I'm not saying he's getting a college job, but if Jim Harbaugh gets a college job, Harbaugh would be suspended for 100% of the first season of employment. This is significant. And then when you look at the whys of this, and Jake and I have talked about this regularly, this is directly from the notice of action from the NCAA. By denying his conduct. This is the NCAA describing why they punished Jim Harbaugh. By denying his conduct, which was plainly supported by the record, Harbaugh violated NCAA ethical conduct legislation and thereby amplified the severity of his case. Harbaugh's underlying recruiting violations are level 2. However, unethical conduct, specifically the provision of false or misleading information, is presumptively a level 1 violation under NCAA bylaws. Institutional staff members have an obligation to cooperate, tell the truth, and further the mission of the membership's infraction process. Harbaugh failed to meet this obligation and thereby engaged in unethical conduct a level 1 violation. He lied, and then he doubled down on his lie. And how do we know that? Well, because the NCAA tells us that. 3 analysts provided technical or tactical instruction of football student athletes during practices, and 7 analysts impermissibly participated in on-campus evaluations. The violations, this is critical, the violations in Harbaugh's program and his knowing and direct involvement in certain recruiting violations demonstrated that Harbaugh did not promote an atmosphere of compliance.
Where have you heard that before?
Nor did he monitor his staff, which Harbaugh acknowledged when he admitted he did not give enough attention to the analysts' activities. The head coach responsibility violation is level 2 because it derives from the underlying level 2 conduct. And read the first line of this paragraph. Harbaugh's conduct supports a bylaw 11 head coach responsibility violation, which is exactly what I told you happened. It does not matter if Jim Harbaugh knew or did not know. He's responsible. He admits that he did not monitor his analysts. He admits that he did not monitor his coaching staff, which is to say, it doesn't matter. He just got a 4-year suspension from the NCAA over his conduct during the COVID dark period. And I would remind you, Jim Harbaugh settled this case and agreed to a 6-game suspension. And the NCAA said, no, that's not good enough. Sorry, bud. Remember that, because Jim Harbaugh has claimed complete and total innocence in all of this. All of it. And when you recognize what they're accusing him of, and here it is plainly, you had recruits on campus during the COVID dark period recruiting window where you were not allowed to have in-person visits. You met with them at a diner where you specifically sat down at a table and spoke to them. Then on another occasion with another recruit, walked up to the table for 5 minutes and spoke with them, after which time one of your assistant coaches paid for breakfast. Then those recruits went back to the Michigan football facility, got a tour, and met with Jim Harbaugh in person. Now, how do we know this? Well, the least of the evidence is all of the receipts, including one, allegedly, where Jim Harbaugh sat down and had a meal, the cheeseburger meal, with the recruit and his dad. How else do we know this? Well, because now the assistant coaches are cooperating. How else do we know this? Yeah, the recruit and his dad, both recruits and their fathers, spoke to the NCAA Committee on Infractions and its investigators and said, yeah, here's what happened. We met with coach at the diner. We went back to the facility. They gave us a tour. Then we worked out on the field. And like the recruits told you, the assistants are telling you, and there's videotape evidence of those workouts. And yeah, there's hard receipts that show. So what did Jim Harbaugh do when he was presented with this information? Oh, I don't know anything about that. What? Wait, what? No. So the process allegedly went, hey, Jim, it's Dickhead with the Committee on Infractions. Heard, that you were at this diner and had breakfast with these kids and then took them back to the facility. What?
No.
That was during the COVID dark period, Dickhead. I would never do that.
Me?
Okay, great. All right. Thanks, Jim. Hey, Jim, it's Dickhead with the Committee on Infractions. Oh, hey, Dickhead. How are you? Great. Hey, bud. It's come to our attention that you were at the diner and you actually sat down and had a cheeseburger with this recruit and his dad. And another time you actually walked up to the table for 5 minutes and spoke to the recruit. Oh, what? I would never do that. Well, I just got off the phone with the recruits and their fathers. They said you did. And I want you to, there's like paper receipts that were filed for expense reports, and they have your name is sitting at the table, and this cheeseburger was for you. Do you want to, let me just ask you again. Let's start over, Jimmy. Let's
just start from the beginning. We'll get a fresh start.
Hey, Jim, were you at that diner? I know you said previously you weren't, but I want to give you
What the fuck are you talking about?
Were you at that diner, Jimmy? No, I wasn't. Well, recruit number 2 says you were. Fuck that guy. Never heard of him. Don't know who the recruit number 2 is. I don't even know who that kid is. I've never met him. Well, Jimbo, here's a problem with that. Here's a text message of you that you sent to this recruit. Oh, yeah. Oh, that recruit. Oh, well, shit. Why didn't you say so, bud? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. That kid, I placed a to-go order at Beto's, which is right next door, and I happened to walk through the diner, and I just saw this kid sitting. So they gave him not one opportunity, not 2 opportunities. They gave him 3 opportunities to tell the truth, and he wouldn't do it. And then he stopped cooperating altogether. Like, do you know the level of arrogance this dude has to operate at? And again, this is all publicly available. It is, and I'll even put this, if you guys want to go read this, it's very available. It is very available. I'm just going to copy the link right here into the comment section so you guys can go and read it, because I want you to be well aware that this is no longer up for question.
Yeah, you no longer can say that we're an Ohio State show or an SEC show or
Old Fat Mormon about to die.
Old Fat Mormon about to die show.
BYU fan, Utah fan, Big
like,
12 fan, flyover conference fan, truck stop fan, liberal left-leaning California Pac-12 fan. We're all of it. The problem is that, this is not good for Jim Harbaugh. And the staff on July 20th, 2023, Michigan, the enforcement staff and 5 Michigan staff members submitted a negotiated resolution. Right. Harbaugh submitted his written response to the notice of allegations March 19th, 2024. Oh, so, just 10 months later than everybody else did. These responses addressed allegations 10 months later, so he didn't cooperate. In early 2021, multiple football prospects visited Michigan's campus on these informal visits, according to recruiting director. Harbaugh urged him to, quote, get guys to campus. So wait, let me get this right. Hey, Jimmy, I know, is it true that you brought recruits to campus? I would never do that.
I was raised not to cheat and lie and break rules.
My father, I raised my family telling the truth. Well, Jim, we're kind of in an awkward spot here, Jimmy. And I just, I'm just going to be forthright with you, you fucking liar. I mean, I'm just going to be forthright with you. I just met, I have your,
Don't lie to me.
I have your director of recruiting in the hot box next door. And he rolled on you. I gotta be honest. I've seen some guys give testimony, Jim. I've seen some guys cut deals to save their own ass.
You're so fucked.
This guy, I mean, Jimmy, do you know what raw dog means, Jim? So let me get this right. The director of recruiting at Michigan testified to the NCAA that Harbaugh, quote, urged him to, quote, get guys to campus. The recruiting director reported that the football staff had, quote, no process in place to alert athletic compliance staff when prospects were planning to visit. Hey, coach, I got Timmy Prepubes over here. He's a 4-star wide receiver. Should we let Ward Manuel know he's coming? No.
They texted.
No, we shouldn't. Well, there's a compliance policy. Listen, we don't comply. Can you spell that for me?
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I'm Captain America. Compliance? I am compliance, sir.
I am the compliance.
Like just the way that he straight up raised a middle finger to the process.
And this is what I said yesterday.
It's amazing.
Dude, we haven't even gotten to the absolute buffoonery of his lawyer's statement yet on this. We're going to get to that in a minute. But from the onset of this whole situation, the moment that Jim became the head coach at Michigan,
When he started looking out for the hungry kids with their cheeseburgers.
yeah, when he started saving everybody and all that crap.
Captain America.
Dude, from the onset, this guy operated with the sense of, hey, I'm Jim Harbaugh. I'm going to do whatever I want, however I want.
I'm Jim Harbaugh and you're not.
Yeah. Right? Thank you. That kind of behavior. I'm going to just do whatever I want. The NCAA doesn't matter. And if compliance comes down on me, I'll already be in the NFL. So on some level, I have to say, hey, Jim, kudos to you. I've never seen anybody operate with this level of I just simply don't care. Like,
listen,
bro,
the kids. It's about the kids. This is, you guys, we make men here.
That'd be America's team.
To make men, we've got to feed them cheeseburgers because that's
just a stalwartness.
Have you ever seen a kid run a route after he has a cheeseburgers at Dickie's Diner?
Bo Dix is playing well.
I mean, you can't believe how much tighter that spiral is when they eat those the lettuce. Are you out of your mind? They gave you not one, not two, but three opportunities to say, yeah,
Bruh.
I did it. Okay, cool, coach. Can you put your hand out like this? Okay, all right, cool. Have a good season. Because that's what would have happened.
Seriously.
That's what would have happened.
And I feel like we always wind up talking about this. If these dudes would just say, yeah, you know what? I'm Jagoff here. I did this. Come down on me. Don't come down on Sharon. Don't come down on Vacuum Salesman of America. Don't come down on the biggest fake franchise draft pick, JJ McCarthy. Like, don't come down on any of those dudes. Just come down on me. I'll take the punishment. And we'll move on.
Let me take it.
Yeah.
I can handle it. I can bear the burden.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
So, Jim, this prospect number 2 that you don't know, did and I know you don't know him and you've never met with him, but did you happen to meet with him at a diner?
Who the fuck is that guy?
No. Well, the problem with that is, see, prospect number 2 and his dad say that the following morning, you and your recruiting director, the guy we have in the sweat box next door who's just absolutely going ham. And he also said he had ham at the diner, but that's a different kind of ham. Met with you and the recruit at a local diner in an interview with the institution and the enforcement staff. The prospect number 2, this kid who you don't know that you said you do know that now you don't, stated he and his father had pretty much a one-on-one breakfast with Coach Harbaugh.
Here I am.
I don't know who he is.
And I just like to point out, anytime we're reading documentation from a disciplinary committee that is referencing a human being as prospect number 2, you're in deep crap, dude.
Jim, he remembers that you liked powdered sugar on your French toast. Where they discuss prospect number 2's future and potentially playing football at Michigan. During the recruiting director's interview with the institution and enforcement staff, he did not specifically recall prospect number 2's visit, but he did remember being present at a breakfast with Harbaugh and a prospect at the diner. Now, listen, I'm not going to say that it was JJ McCarthy that we had breakfast with because, well, free Harbaugh and shit. But I do remember this one time.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
Look, this kid was hungry and cold, and he wanted bacon. And who am I to say no? Did you know he was a football player? Well, I mean, yeah.
And, pardon me.
I didn't fully know who he was.
The recruiting director provided an expense report and receipt showing he paid for breakfast at the diner on February 28th, 2021, and the order included a bacon cheeseburger.
My guy.
This mirrored prospect number 2 and his father. Now listen, son, do you remember what did Coach Harbaugh have for breakfast that day? Well, oddly enough, sir, he had a bacon cheeseburger.
Juicy.
This mirrored prospect number 2 in his dad's account on the date and time of the meal and the type of food eaten by Harbaugh. Specifically, prospect number 2 recalled that Harbaugh ordered a hamburger for breakfast, which kind of stood out to him. Now, I got to tell you, I'm not a meat eater in the morning, but that Jim Harbaugh, have you ever seen him pound a burger in the morning? I knew right then I was going to Ohio State. They remember the prospect, the kid and his dad remembered that Jim Harbaugh ordered a hamburger. So wait a minute. I thought hamburgers and cheeseburgers were just for these hungry kids who were cold. So we brought them in and bought them a meal.
Servicing the community,
We
sir.
were just trying to make sure that these kids were well nourished. The kid remember. So Jim, I just got to ask again.
And I know this is like the third time,
but I want you to know your director of recruiting's in the next room. Do you know what
I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
Do you know what a rectum is, Jim? Because he's going to Pound Town on you. So I'll just ask, do you remember breakfast and how was that hamburger? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if
but
I don't
Jim,
know quite. I don't quite know how to answer
but
that, to be
Jim,
honest.
here's the expense report with your name on it, and it says you had a hamburger with the recruit.
That's the untrained eye.
And he still denied it.
which is just incredible. Bro.
And he denied it. You know why he denied it? Because when you don't have a compliance process, you just submit receipts that are evidence in writing of recruiting violations that include your head coach, who then denies it because he doesn't know about the compliance process.
Stop saying that we just hate Michigan or that somehow, you know, and again, I know this has nothing to do, this punishment
Oh my God.
has nothing to do with the sign stealing thing. Stallion, a complete, you know, cold-blooded breakdown of the COVID recruiting dark period violations. Don't tell me that you really believe Jim wouldn't do this stuff.
And so again, here's where I ask, what do you think this means for Jim Harbaugh? Because then there's this little thing right here. And Jimmy, I know that you're the coach at Michigan, or you were before you absolutely savaged them by coming here to the NFL where
Pack this thing up. We're out of here.
you know, you work for a team that should be in San Diego, but they're in Los Angeles, but they're paying you $80 million. And, you know, the funny thing is, Jimmy, I saw that statement from your attorney on the old X machine there, where he said that if he were you, he'd take the $80 million contract and pay no attention to that, quote, kangaroo court, which claims to represent the principles of the nation's most flagrant repeat violator of federal antitrust laws. See, here's a problem, Jim. Here at the NFL, we have a precedent. You remember that? Have you ever heard? I know you haven't heard of Prospect 2, but have you heard of Ohio State University? You ever heard of that little school down there in Columbus?
We beat the hell out of them every year. They're nobody.
Well, unless you take the sign stealing thing, but we're not here to talk about that. That's later when we suspend you a second time. But do you remember they had a little coach named Jim Tressel, and there were some tattoos and
Whatever.
You remember when Jim Irsay, that crazy son of a bitch, you know Jim really well, right, Jim? Because you're Captain America and shit, and you played for him with the Colts. Do you remember when he hired Jim Irsay after Jim got essentially the same punishment you just got from the NCAA? Do you remember what the Colts did there? Oh, that's right. They suspended Jim Tressel for 6 weeks at the behest of the NFL. And Terrell Pryor was taken in the supplemental draft that same year by the Oakland Raiders. And do you remember that they suspended him for 5 weeks?
Oh.
Why did they suspend? They couldn't, but because they had taken punishment from the NCAA and then essentially ran to the NFL to get away from that punishment. But see, here at the NFL, where we have no morals and, we wreck people's brains.
And we circumcise skeeters.
Right. We do care about integrity, which is why I'm kind of surprised.
At least publicly.
Which is why I'm kind of surprised you work here, Jim. But anyway, the point is, Jim Tressel and Terrell Pryor left Ohio State amidst scandal. And when they left Ohio State, they immediately went to the NFL. Jim Tressel was suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season. Terrell Pryor for the first 5 weeks of the season. Should the NFL take action against Jim Harbaugh?
100%.
You think they should?
This is a flagrant. This is more flagrant than the Tressel situation. Like, this is Jim openly and without any fear or hesitation saying, yeah, I basically just lit Michigan on fire and did all this stuff I'm not supposed to do. And I look like, reckless, irresponsible, lacking morals, just all like no respect for the process or any of my colleagues or anybody else who also plays football in the NCAA, and the fact that they are abiding by the rules, like no respect for any of that. So I'm just going to go in. I'm going to cheat my way to a national championship. And that starts by recruiting kids when I'm not supposed to recruit them in the COVID dark period. And then when I get caught, because I know I'm going to get caught, then I'm going to go to the league. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to coach the Chargers for, let's be generous and say 5 years. I think it'll be less, but let's say 5 years. And I'm not going to look back. And then when the punishment comes out, I'm going to have my wannabe pit bull of an attorney put out an absolutely dumb statement.
I think this is a huge mistake.
Like being super brash, super in your face, super arrogant.
And this attorney, Tom Mars, is spectacular. Like, he has handled massive cases. He is a really good lawyer. This right here is stupid lawyering. This feels like Jim Harbaugh said, take him to the woodshed. If I had an $80 million contract as a head coach of the Chargers, you're begging the NFL to punish you. And I think the NFL will act with the way that they handled the Ohio State and Jim Tressel and Terrell Pryor. My guess is that they will act.
Well, and the NFL is not going to have their league be seen as an escape hatch for college coaches or players, for that matter, who decided that they didn't want to follow the governing body. That's not going to work.
That's wild to me. Did I mention that this has nothing to do with sign stealing? This is all of this punishment, a 4-year suspension, show cause orders, all of this. This is all about Jim Harbaugh lying to the NCAA Committee on Infractions in the face of overwhelming evidence, lying to the NCAA.
And I just can't get past the fact that they showed him the evidence and he still lied. Like, you would think that, like, I can almost understand. Okay, hey, like, I'm running from this. I don't know what they have. I'm going to deny it. I'm going to play denial. I'm going to run.
Lying,
cheating,
lying,
I'm just gonna
and then playing the victim.
That's the playbook. But once you sat down at that table and they showed you the evidence and they flopped it out on you, and you knew that you were effed and you were going to have to go to the league probably sooner than you wanted to, at that point, I would have thought that the decision would have shifted from,
cheating, lying, and then playing the victim
to, hey, yeah, you know what? I did do that, and it just is what it is. But no, he doesn't do that. And that's what's incredible about this guy. And that's why I don't put it past him for the sign stealing stuff, any of the recruiting stuff. Like, this is who Jim is, man. Like, when are you guys going to get on board that this is who this guy is?
And the worst part is when you say to him, hey, do you know who Prospect 2 is? And they didn't say Prospect 2. They said, Jimmy No Pubes. Do you know who this is?
Yeah.
This is your 4-star wide receiver recruit or whatever the kid actually was. Nope, never heard of him. Don't know what you're talking about. Well, how about this text message you sent him then? Like, this is it's not even defensible anymore. This is the text message. that Jim Harbaugh sent to the recruit that he denied knowledge of. Later admitted he knew him, but denied knowledge of it. Attacked today with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Where have we heard this before? Where?
Talk soon and go blue. Hope you enjoyed your trip to Ann Arbor. It never happened because I said so.
So hold on. In the press, do we still have that? The press availability from the other day. Where did we hear the line of attack today with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind?
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal.
What?
Wait a minute. That I need to play the rest of it. But the fact that this motherfucker has the balls to come out here and be like, you never lie, you never cheat, you never, ever, ever lie, unless you get caught and then you deny
and
everything.
I just want to point out, when he said this in this press availability, he knows all of this that we've come to know today.
Already is aware
knew.
of this is happening. You never lie, you never cheat, and you never steal.
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal.
That's who we are.
I was raised with that lesson.
That's my
Go
dad.
I
blue.
have raised my family on that lesson. I have preached that lesson to the teams that I've coached. No one's perfect. If you stumble, you apologize, and you make it right.
Unless you're Jim Harbaugh.
Today, I do not apologize.
See?
I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for me, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
What kind of fucking asshole is this guy? I mean, and again, Michigan fan in the comments section, I just ask you directly, how do you believe a word coming out of this guy's mouth when he has repeated, I did nothing wrong, I'm Captain America?
I love the assertion. He goes, I have no knowledge. I'm not complicit. I never participated in. And therefore, because I don't know anything about it, allegedly, I'm just moving on forward. As if that's how the world works.
The only problem with that, Harbaugh's conduct supports a bylaw 11 head coach responsibility violation.
But wait, Jim, I thought you didn't know anything about it, bro.
Recruit too.
They have your text messages,
Recruit too, where you say attack today with an enthusiasm unknown to man.
So this is my question for Michigan fan.
Oh my God.
This dude stands up here and does this media availability and rolls out that same verbiage. I'm telling you, he enjoys this. I
believe he does.
telling you that he goes out of his way to be an asshole about it. He enjoys sticking it to the NCAA.
All right, let's get to you guys in the comments section. I've had my fun. I'm always right, and I'm better looking than you. We totally get it. Your wife wants to hit this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. I had no knowledge of her activities. Okay. In the comment,
had sexual relations.
you have to use your thumb. You have to curl this. Use your thumb. Never, ever, even if there's a fire, did I get filleted by Monica. So where do you guys come down on this? Let me ask you a couple of questions directly in the comments section. Should the NFL suspend Jim Harbaugh? Because now I don't think there's any way to deny he took the trestle route. He evacuated Michigan. He fled Michigan to the NFL to avoid punishment. Should the NFL punish Jim Harbaugh? And do you believe, based on what we've now seen from the NCAA, do you believe he took part in the cheating scandal, the sign stealing? Because I 100% do.
Marty, he was a lone wolf.
I 100%
Sign
believe
stealer
that he
guy.
did. I am amazed by it. Let's see. Mike Smith. I don't know who you're talking about. Evidence pops up to the contrary. Jimmy, learning from Donnie.
Okay, Mike, dude, I am not gonna bring. We
don't talk politics on this show.
We stick to sports. We don't do quote bullshit politics or any of that stuff on this show anymore. So, great comment. Kudos to you. Great
but
comment.
isn't that there's as much as we joke, that's who we are as a country now.
Yeah. How long have you been saying it?
I
6
don't
months?
like the rules, so they don't apply to me. Hey, Jim, the rules do apply to you. No, they don't. I'm going to go get my $80 million contract from should be playing in San Diego, the Chargers.
Get out of my way, dude.
And I'm going to bail on Michigan. And then Michigan fans will beg me to stay, and I'll still leave. Michigan University will then offer me the largest contract in the history of college football, and I'll ask them to put a provision in there that says, well, when we get slapped by the NCAA, I get my full compensation.
Yeah, you guys remember that? He wanted immunity.
And then when they give it to me, I'm still going to go and coach for $80 million with the should be in San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
That's essentially how this went down, in my opinion. Coconut Dreams, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I've never heard of you. This is yet another opportunity on the show for a commenter who's not here regularly to make a difference.
And not a member of the program.
Yeah,
remember,
so you're taking your life in your hands here, Marty.
Remember,
reading non-member
Marty,
comments.
Marty, God damn it. You should hit the join button. $2 a month. We'll read every one of your comments. Only half of your comment. We'll read half of every one of your comments. Thanks for bringing the truth, the Monty Show. Colin Cowherd is calling this a witch hunt, which is utterly vile, poisonous, deceitful attempt to spin doctor the cheating and attempted cover-up. I don't know how it's a witch hunt when I don't believe, based on what I saw from the NCAA, that the conduct's even in question anymore.
Yeah, the track record of evidence is clear.
Yeah. Welcome to the nightmare. The NFL definitely should take action. Way worse. The 4-year show caused by the NCAA seems very light. This isn't for the cheating scandal.
Yeah.
This is just for providing cheeseburgers to hungry kids.
And really, I think you're right. I think the punishment would have been much lighter than this if Jim had just cooperated. But because he fought so much,
this would be over.
They had to prove a point here.
Jim Harbaugh would have taken a recruiting restriction. He would not. This would have been a slap on the wrist. Hey, Jimmy, you can't leave campus to recruit for 6 months. That's all this would have been. And the NCAA has as much said so. It's just that your flagrant conduct made it a level 1 violation. That's a 4-year show cause order. So what's going to happen when we get the sign stealing evidence? Because you guys, we all know how this is going. If you think they rolled on him and for the cheeseburgers for hungry kids scam, what do you think they rolled on him for on the sign stealing thing?
Well, and I think with the sign stealing thing, the fact that he's gone to the NFL, people who would have protected him have no reason to protect him now.
Sharon Moore rolled. He gave his text messages. He's cooperating with the investigation.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it will be a 10-year show cause period for Jim Harbaugh. And that is, Mike Smith, never lie, never cheat, never steal. And remember, kids, take your vitamins. Captain America out. Right? Bailey Dietrich. Will this be a new soundbite, Monty? It should be.
Yeah.
It absolutely should be.
Okay, again. See.
You're see, do I read this comment? You're dressed up in a bunny suit, sir. I'm not judging people.
Well, Marty, I went to the bunny convention when the Harbaugh stuff came down, and now I got to go hopping into your comment section. See what I did there?
Bro, you want to get your freak on? You do you. You do you. Oh, God. And O.J. Simpson's in the comment.
Oh, dear.
Harbaugh is like O.J. Simpson saying the late O.J. Simpson. If hell's real, O.J. Simpson. Saying he would never wear those, quote, ugly-ass Bruno Mali shoes. And then being shown the pictures of him wearing them and then lying again. Listen, that's a deep fake. Okay? I would never look at those ugly-ass shoes.
I have no idea what that was.
Are you kidding me? And then you hand him a shrunk glove because all the blood that was on the glove from when he, did what he allegedly said what he allegedly said.
Oh, what a loser!
And the glove didn't fit, and he went free. Okay. Jeremy Severe. Hello. Jim sounds like Bill Clinton.
See?
I did not have sexual relations. And I love the defenders of Bill Clinton who are like, oh, she is.
Oh, what a tramp, man.
Bill Clinton can get a much better looking woman than her.
I want you to listen to me.
Well, it turns out if the mouth fits, you must not acquit.
I'm going to say this again.
What do you mean that blowy is sexual relations? Well, why didn't you tell me that?
Like, for instance.
What? I know. I thought you meant like, like that's, come on, guy. You know what sex, come on, man.
That's every day.
Who hasn't had a little instead of, and she's not attractive. He would never, oh, he did do, what, a dress? What do you mean a DNA? What?
It's internal.
A dress? Yeah, I thought you meant internal. I was never into, well, her. Now, what do you mean? When I mean internal, I don't mean, let's move on. Tyler. I freely admit I'm a terrible person. Blatantly ignorant to everything that's going on. I didn't know.
See, I'm telling you, dude. With Tyler, bro, he plays like he's ignorant, but he's not. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Eric and Charlotte. Jim Harbaugh? Who? Not Jim Harbaugh. Who's got it better than us? Everybody. It's wild to me. Yes, suspend him. Yes, suspend them. It's 100% certainty. Taylor Smith, Monty is a wonder of the world.
That's right.
I thought I was the world. And okay.
Oh, who are you, Jim Harbaugh?
What? Oh God, look at the, okay. Speaking of getting your freak on. Now listen.
Okay.
The other guy wore a bunny suit and I thought that was a freak show. Whatever this avatar is. Did you ask Lloyd Carr permission to use his image in your avatar? Could be a copyright infringement. Nobody will ever take Michigan or their fans seriously after this. The deflecting and lying, even to themselves, is rough. It's rough. Ryan Day's beard. Oh, Ryan. Can I comb the cheese curd out of your beard? Oh. Who are you, Preston Stone? Okay.
The cack.
Kim Coulter, 100% he cheated. I would agree with that. Damian Fowler, hello. Duran, hungry like lone wolf. Get it? Like hungry like the wolf.
Yeah, it's like the song, but it's like the lone wolf angle with Sign Stealer guy.
We were playing, Mrs. Marty and I were playing our Friday night round of golf last week, and she tends to be she's on the ones and twos during our round of golf, so she picks the music, and Hungry like the Wolf played. So nice Aaron sound drop. Exactly. I miss the mailman.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Coconut Dreams.
Wow. The join button does work. Wow.
Good job. I love coconut.
Yeah, good job, dude.
Eric in
Charlotte.
Durham. Eric in Durham. Rules for thee, not for me. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I hope you're dry. The Carolinas in this storm. My God. Sharice Armstead. Hello. It's pathetic that Jim Harbaugh took part in the cheating, but he denied doing anything wrong. Again, listen, I don't know who E. Jean Carroll is, and I would never have sex with her. Oh, God.
Cashless.
And it's so funny that Donnie and Jimmy both are using the lone wolf. Look, Michael Cohen was a lone wolf. He acted on his own. He paid her off on his own.
So I said, yeah.
I would never, ever. That would be election fraud. What? Okay. People are now pissed. Eric in Chapel Hill. It's not a witch hunt when there are witches everywhere you look. You know what I'm saying? Damian Fowler. Uh-oh. We got the Nevada Buck crew in here. The Nevada Buck crew? Who dat? Nevada. Oh God, no,
Dude.
bro. No. The answer's I said yeah. Today's the day, Buckeye fan. Listen.
So I said, yeah.
If you're going to feel good about it, because the season's about to start, and I have that trip to Autzon's probably not going to go well.
Stay on.
I still cannot believe that he went after K-State like that. That
Yeah.
Will Howard
Yeah.
went after K-State.
Will Howard don't care, bro.
Will Howard's our guy. He's been on the show, of course, so he's good.